Sophie, getting breaking news at this hour that the president is changing his trip.
Yes, indeed. We just got information from the presidency that he will be returning back home. In other words, he's not going to go to New York, where he was expected to address the United Nations General Assembly in the evening on Tuesday. So he will be flying back to South Africa tomorrow after the funeral, and we are told that he has already spoken to the relevant ministers in terms of the issue of energy, and I think that would include your finance, Minister of Public Enterprise, Minister of Mining, and I'm sure even the acting president, David Mabuza, who is the man in charge or who was given responsibility by President Ramaphosa to look at this issue of Eskom, while the president himself is also involved. And I think the leadership of Eskom was also involved. So he's in constant contact with the relevant ministers, talking to them, and we are told that even today, before he goes to the dinner that has been organized by King Charles, he will continue to engage with the relevant ministers. And the Minister of International Relations, Dr. Naledi Pandor, will again represent South Africa at the UN. You'd recall that the same thing happened some few years ago, where Minister Pandor had to step in when there was a crisis in South Africa, particularly in the northwest, where there were riots and violence, and he had to cancel, come back from London to South Africa. And at one point, he couldn't go to the United Nations looking after challenges facing South Africa. So that's the news. The president is coming back. He's just wrapping up what he was supposed to do, done, because he's already there. He arrived this morning. But you know, with technology, you have Zoom, you have Teams, you can run the country from wherever you are. That is why the president of the United States of America, when he leaves the country, he doesn't appoint anyone. He continues with his work, because within, even when he's on air with Air Force One, he can still conduct and engage members of his administration.
And what is also going to be key also is that, you know, coming back is one thing, but a clear plan and progress since the time he presented, you know, that plan to deal with the energy crisis to the nation is another. So South Africans will really be looking at, you know, just how things can be speedily resolved now.
I can't see this time around being business as usual. This was a huge embarrassment to him. Remember, he went to Washington, short stop over, deal with issues there, and then London, and he wanted to go back to the United Nations because he had made arrangements to engage other leaders. The reality is, you are a president of a country, but you still have to engage with people internationally. For example, when we talk about foreign direct investment, these are resources you get outside South Africa. If you want to invest, you have to do these international engagements. As long as you don't drop the ball in terms of what's happening in the country. And while he was busy with this very short visit, if you can see, it's in out, where he was trying to be short in terms of his tweet, contrary to some heads of state, allowing president from the inauguration of William Ruto on Tuesday. He went straight to New York. I mean, so many days. But he was trying to ensure that he doesn't meant to spend much time outside the country. But unfortunately, here we are. We have a serious problem of electricity, and therefore I think those very close to him did advise him that he must return back to South Africa to deal with this. And with this embarrassment, I can't see him being very casual or being very relaxed in terms of dealing with this issue. He has to take a strong position, because my suspicion is this is not they were signed. I'm sure they were signed. Mm. There's no way a greed can just collapse. They were refused. What did they do?
All right. Oh, Sophie, let's see then what unfolds here onwards, because as you say, this is a crisis and it's something that really needs urgent attention. That's our international editor there, Sophie Mokoena, talking to us about, developments at the South. Breaking news. President Cyril Ramaphosa is to attend, in fact, return to South Africa after the Queen's funeral to deal with the energy crisis. Remember, today we woke up to news that we are now at stage 6 and Eskom saying that it is doing everything it can to ensure that the situation doesn't further worsen, because there's quite a number of concerns that we may even see, going up to stage 8. Quite a lot of concerns there, units, in fact, coming offline, and Eskom saying that it really needs to, really do a lot here to ensure that the country remains with the lights on, and quite a number of businesses at the same time are buckling under the pressure of COVID-19, the pressure of the unrest, and now, of course, the rolling blackout. So let's watch this one and see how it develops.